Hi, my name is Julie Mireles, and today I'll be doing a book talk on the book How I Learn: A Kid's Guide to Learning Disability. This book is by Brenda S. Miles and Colleen A. Patterson. The illustrator is Jane Heinrichs, and this book is about a student, and the setting is a classroom. The student has a learning disability. He talks about how he likes school even though at times he does get confused. This character has trouble reading. He has trouble connecting the sound to the word. There are other two students in the classroom who have a learning disability as well. Carmen has trouble writing. She has trouble writing down all her ideas. And Henry, he has trouble with math. He has trouble putting the numbers together. He explains the reason why him and his classrooms may struggle with understanding certain subjects is because they have a learning disability. He understands there are different types of learning disabilities and that is okay. People with learning disabilities have to learn in different ways. He explains how different ways are smart ways and that they don't define their ability. He explains some of the different ways they learn, like Carmen. She puts each individual idea on paper and then forms a sentence. Henry, he incorporates math with cooking, something fun, something that can help him learn better. The character understands that learning in a different way doesn't make them any less smart. The conflict of the story is the main character gets frustrated because he doesn't want people to think that he isn't trying. People with learning disabilities learn at a different pace. So they may learn the certain subject maybe a lot more differently than a student without a disability would learn. He understands how other students may see it that way, but he also knows that the reason that he struggles with understanding the certain criteria is because of his learning disability. And he just wants people to understand that he tries a lot harder than they think. And the lessons that this character have learned is just because they have a learning disability and learn at a different pace does not underestimate their ability. And the slide that best describes the learning disability experience would be this one right here. I'll go ahead and read it to you. It reads, I write interesting stories, but Carmen, a girl in my class, has trouble writing. She has lots of ideas, but she can't put them all down on paper. I love math because numbers make sense to me, but math is tough for Henry. He jumbles up the numbers and feels frustrated. This describes the different types of learning disabilities like Carmen. For Carmen, it is really hard for her to write down the many ideas that cross her mind, and it is so hard for her to form a sentence. It's hard for her to write a story because of all the thoughts. For him, it's easy, but for Carmen, it is really hard. And the same thing goes for Henry. Henry is struggling with math. He feels very frustrated about the numbers and the adding and subtracting, while for the main character, it's easy for him. This explains the different types of learning disability and the experiences that these characters like Carmen and Henry go through. The grade level that would benefit from reading this book would be young students, like first graders. They would benefit from reading this story because it would help them understand why their classmates or even themselves may struggle with learning certain subjects. And it can also help them recognize how hard these students try to learn and make them understand their side of the story, their side a lot more. And, think before they say anything mean. What I liked the most about this story would be I liked how this book would talk about different students and their different learning disabilities and how they try to overcome it and how they try to learn at their own pace to help them better understand the certain subjects that they struggle with. The type of assistive technology used in this book was high tech. So the main character used a computer that helped him read out loud the certain stories. It would help him identify the words a lot more easier and help them learn how each word sounds. Like, let me go ahead and show you the slide where he is using the computer. This computer helps him learn how words sound. Overall, it just helps him with his learning disability. One of the changes that I would make to a school environment that would help it be more accessible to students with a learning disability would be in the playground. In the playground, it is an environment where all students, just get ease from all the schoolwork and all of that, and it's kind of could be kind of hard for students who are not able to move around as other students due to their disability. So if maybe their legs are paralyzed or maybe their disability made them have one less leg, so they are not able to move around and play as much as other students do. So I would have sort of a playground area where they can use their hands, fun cool little toys that they can just use their top area to move, or maybe even high tech like iPads or something like that, just sort of an area where it could be more accessible to those with a disability. And another change I would make would be for all classrooms to have programs that would help those with a learning disability, just like this book, how the main character uses a computer that reads them out loud, the words, to help him identify the sound of how each word is. I feel like that would really benefit from the school. It would really help those students who are learning how to read or having struggle how to read, or maybe even like Henry who struggle with math. It can help them learn much more easier, and it would also benefit them in school. It would help the teacher as well. It would help the teacher by, she can put the certain student on the computers for just a little bit and then go back to teaching the student. That way it can both help the student and the teacher at the same time. Overall, I really enjoyed reading this book. It really opened my eyes to the different types of learning disabilities and the struggles that these students do go through, and how they do recognize how other students may view them as they're not trying hard enough because of their learning disability. But this book can show the young students that do read this book that they do try so hard to learn the certain subjects that they do struggle with. It's just overall a really good book for students with a learning disability and without a learning disability, just so they can learn more about living life with the certain learning disability. And I hope you enjoyed my book talk presentation, And I hope you enjoy this book, and I hope you check this book out as well.